Good evening, everyone. I hate to break this up. Thank you. I'll wait a second for everybody to sit down. Okay, somebody is going to have to ding the glasses. Thank you, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I hope that you had a wonderful afternoon and were able to make some new connections and gather some great new ideas. I'm sure that you did. And welcome back, everybody that is joining us online. Throughout the day, we've talked about the conference theme, Teammates, together until it's done. To me, this theme means that no matter how or what you're involved in, you are all making a difference, and we are all on the same team. We thought we would kick off the evening by sharing reflections of 4 outstanding volunteers who really bring the power of volunteering to life.
I first heard about the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation because I was researching an organization to volunteer for that was efficient and effective with the funds that were raised. It's really intelligent how the organization brings everything together because they find things that appeal to all walks of life. There's wine events, there's beer events, there's athletic events, and things with competition.
It feels amazing to be a part of a team of volunteers. On the day of an event, there's so many people out there helping set things up. Everybody is just so passionate and so motivated, and that affects you as a volunteer. It makes you excited to be out there.
Volunteering for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation makes me feel useful, makes me feel great. My reward has been a sense of satisfaction. The last couple of years, the progress that they've made has just been so astronomical. And I feel like, yippee, you know, I put my pen in, I did my penny's worth.
You should volunteer with the CF Foundation because there are so many improvements and advancements being made. And that's because of these events that we do. It's because of the money that we raise. It's because of the research that goes on, the therapies that they come up with. You feel like you're making a difference.
If anybody is considering volunteering, do. Just give it a try. Go to an event, meet some of the people.
The community is so passionate, so motivated to find a cure for CF.
I've seen results from my volunteering. That's the biggest thing. We're on the track to treat everyone with cystic fibrosis and cure this disease.
We're moving so quickly with the drugs that are being developed, the therapies, the way we're improving the lives of people with CF. If we don't have you, it's not going to happen. Become a CF Foundation teammate. Let's find a cure for cystic fibrosis together.
What powerful stories. Thank you, Justin, Ashley, Barb, and Kristen. And there are thousands of stories like theirs in so many ways that our amazing community is working to advance the shared dream, a cure for CF. One of those ways is through advocacy. Earlier this week at the March on the Hill, advocates from across the country came to Washington, D.C. to meet with members of Congress and convey the important needs of people with CF. Leading the way were our National Advocacy Chair, Melissa Schiffman, our heroine from this afternoon, and our amazing former co-chair, Rebecca Schroeder. They've done such an exceptional job, and they have set the stage for our incoming advocacy co-chairs, Jackie and Drew Strube and Chad Reedy. And Chad, I've got your name on my bracelet. The Strubes have a 3-year-old son named Major who has cystic fibrosis and have been leading voices in Iowa through Major's Army, their Great Strides team. Chad Reedy is an amazing husband and father living with CF. He's on the Adult Advisory Council and co-chairs the Joker's Wild Casino Night and Tomorrow's Leaders at the Metro DC chapter. Please join me in thanking Melissa and Rebecca and recognizing Jackie, Drew, and Chad. We are deeply grateful to all of you for your hard work and your enduring spirit of collaboration. It's a privilege to be part of such an incredible team. Please enjoy your dinner. We will resume the second half of our evening in about 30 minutes. For those of you joining us via live stream, be back in 30 minutes.
Hello, everyone. We're back. Everyone enjoying dinner? I guess that's a yes. I just want to say for everyone in the live stream that in solidarity with us, I hope you're all having chicken for dinner.
That was good.
You know, we've come so far since 1955, but as we've heard so many times today, our work is not nearly done. Our dream of finding a one-time cure that will end cystic fibrosis isn't going to be easy, but I'm confident we'll reach our ultimate goal because our team is strong and because we continue to have strong leaders to guide us. This year's VLC theme, Teammates, Together Until It Is Done, is especially relevant to those companies and individuals we honor tonight because that's what they represent to us. They are truly CF Foundation teammates, champions, and heroes because they foster engagement and galvanize support, all to advance our mission. They have generously given their time, talents, and resources so that people with CF can have the chance to live full, productive lives, and we are so proud to salute and thank them tonight. We had a reception earlier this evening where we honored those who provide outstanding corporate support and leadership, whether through sponsoring our fundraising events, supporting our black tie galas, playing a round of golf, or rallying employees and colleagues to join Great Strides or endurance events. These efforts made a profound difference. In fact, I was amazed to find out that the corporations that won recognition tonight at the reception together combined for $6 million of support last year. To go over some of the recognition that we had earlier, I want to first talk about the top national corporate team, which was Cisco Systems. And the 2017 Rising Star Best Buy. Thank you so much for your support. Then we also recognize the National Corporate Leadership Council. All members are listed on the slide, There they are. If all the recipients could please stand, we'd like to give you a round of applause. I hope you all know how much we truly appreciate what you do for us. Thank you so much.
Congratulations to all the award recipients. I would now like to invite Preston, Mark, and Maureen to join us on the stage to help present the next awards. It is now my pleasure to recognize American Airlines with the Outstanding Corporate Supporter Award. 33 years ago, Bernie Willett, who is here tonight, joined with others at American Airlines. Yep. Joined with others at American Airlines to create the American Airlines Celebrity Ski event. Over the years, Celebrity Ski has raised nearly $40 million in support of the Foundation's mission. In addition to the Celebrity Ski event, each year American Airlines donates American Advantage miles that are used by CF Foundation chapters across the country as coveted auction prizes, as well as valuable incentive prizes for Great Strides and other fundraising events. The caring and devoted people at American Airlines have showed steadfast passion and commitment to the CF Foundation's mission. They are, in every sense of the word, a truly outstanding corporate supporter. Here with us today is Griffin Gonzalez, Director of Community Affairs and Corporate Giving, to accept the award on behalf of American Airlines. Thank you so much. And I don't know about you guys, but I flew American here, so thank you. So to honor the work of American Airlines and recognize other important supporters, we established the Spirit of American Award in 2005. Each year, the award is presented to a person, organization, or corporation that embodies American Airlines' stellar commitment and dedication to the work of the CF Foundation and all people affected by cystic fibrosis. This year, we are so excited to honor Kroger's. Kroger has been involved with the foundation for over 30 years. Their involvement began when Kroger employee David Wells' daughter was diagnosed with CF. Through golf tournaments, pin-up campaigns, and various other events and activities, Kroger stores have collected nearly $1.1 million. Here with us today is Melissa Eads to accept the award on behalf of Kroger's.
Well, thank you. On behalf of all my teammates at Kroger, we are extremely honored to receive this recognition. We love supporting CF, and as you just heard, we got involved because one of our store managers had a daughter who was diagnosed with CF, and that was 30-something years ago, and I'm happy to say she's still fighting that battle. And in fact, I heard from him just a few weeks ago, and she is one of those CF patients who has benefited from Symdeco. Hopefully I said that correctly. And he was so excited and grateful for that. So we're proud to support the organization. We've worked for a number of years from Angela Lynn, who was the first person I remember really working with CF, and she was a mom of a son who had CF, and she was a very passionate advocate for her son as a volunteer, and now I know she works for CF. And then Brian Knock, I've worked with Brian for years. Brian actually used to be a Kroger store manager. So we go way back, but we appreciate all the work all of you do. We appreciate how passionate the volunteers, the families, the parents are advocating for their children, and thank you very much for recognizing us tonight.
Thank you so much. Now I'm excited to invite my sorority sister from Delta Phi Epsilon, Angie Kinney, to the stage to present the next award. Angie has 2 adult daughters with cystic fibrosis. She's a past VLC co-chair, National Volunteer Engagement Committee chair, as well as the annual fund chair, and a board member at the Western Pennsylvania chapter. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Hi, guys. Most of you probably noticed that there's a lot of focus this year in our expanding family. We have more grandparents here. We have more tomorrow's leaders here. We're really excited about the future of our people pipeline. And we want to start a new tradition and start awarding what we call Tomorrow's Leader Award every year to someone who represents that individual, that young professional that has done extraordinary things for our mission. But I'd like to start by asking any of tomorrow's leaders that happen to be here joining us for VLC to stand up so we get an opportunity to see who you are. This is our future. This is the people pipeline. And I encourage everyone to continue to foster and cultivate their Tomorrow's Leaders programs at home, because they really are what's feeding our volunteer leadership. And what we like to say is that it's very easy to count how many seeds are in an apple, but it's hard to know how many apples could be in each seed that you plant. And that's what we find in so many things we do with CF, but certainly with our Tomorrow's Leaders. Oh my goodness, every one of those people you saw standing up, the amount that they do for CF and every connection they make and how that snowballs through the years in terms of volunteer leadership as well as revenue for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation is phenomenal. So we're very grateful for them. This year will be our first year offering this award, and I'm really honored to be the one to present this award because this person is very, very near and dear to my heart. He's someone that got involved with cystic fibrosis over 10 years ago, came into our program in Pittsburgh through our 50 Finest without any connection to CF, as most of our young professionals in our Finest program do come in that way. And since then, he has taken ownership of this mission as if he's had a child with CF himself. He has literally dedicated his life, even molding his career around being available to fight for a cure for this disease for the last decade, including being involved in advocacy, joining our board, and he now chairs our 50 Finest program that brings in over $500,000 every year. And more importantly than that, he brings 50 new individuals, young professionals, that most of which stay with us and are end up picking up on his enthusiasm and moving forward and making wonderful things happen for our mission. And you just can't put a price on that. In addition, many of you know him because he's been helping to mentor a lot of the Finest programs around the country. So his enthusiasm is never ending, never ending. And when I think about him as being a seed, I think about one of the most important seeds he's planted, which is with my kids. It used to be my dream that my kids would just grow up, survive this disease. And with all the hope that we have now, my dream is that they grow into individuals like Justin Davis, someone who cares so much about other people that no matter what, makes time to change the world. You can ask either one of my daughters how much they admire this man and how much he has meant to them, and they'll tell you. So, and as a seed, he pretty much represents the birth of our entire Tomorrow Leader program has sprung from this seed. So please help welcome to the stage our first Tomorrow's Leaders recipient, Justin Davis.
Had to be Angie, didn't it? To receive any award or acknowledgement is an honor, but receiving an inaugural award for something that's this important is really special, especially given the fact that my CFF volunteer career started as a young professional who did not have a direct connection to cystic fibrosis. I obviously can't say that now. I'll be brief. I have a few vital people that I want to thank, and I just have a few words to say. First, I want to thank Pat Joseph, my executive director in my heart. She is the key to our success in Western Pennsylvania, and I truly love her. Everything we do goes through her. She motivates us. She keeps us on task, and I love Pat Joseph. All of my staff and volunteer friends from all over the country, and all of my fellow volunteers in Pittsburgh, and the national staff who treat me like family, especially just some names that come to mind are Julia and Leah and Peter, Maureen, Molly, Yolan, Carolyn, Brady, Denise, so many others. And of course, the Tomorrow's Leaders pioneers, most notably Jessica Caniglio and Harris Markowitz. Please give it up for them. We worked together to build this amazing program, Tomorrow's Leaders, and that is going to recruit and cultivate the next wave of fighters, passionate young professionals who are going to dedicate their time and their talents to get us to the finish line. We're going to continue to tell our stories while we help Tomorrow's Leaders create their stories. And our goal remains the same. Treat everyone with cystic fibrosis while we create a cure. Two very special friends of mine who became family that you may have heard of, Angie Kinney and Peter Hodge. They taught me a long time ago that our work with this organization is a gift, and I don't take that for granted. Serving the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation is the greatest honor of my life, and I will never be able to fully give back everything that the CF Foundation has given to me, but you better believe I will try. In closing, while I am truly honored to receive this award, I don't view it as an award. This is a reminder that I have to work harder and longer and do everything in my power to build this new army of fighters, Tomorrow's Leaders, so we can get to the finish line faster. And you have my word, I will never stop until it's done. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart, and stay tuned because you ain't seen nothing yet.
Wow, right? Wow. I am friends with Justin online, and I watch him on Facebook, and I've been in awe of him. But now, Chris, you need to find more things for me to do because I'm just not doing enough. So, wow. Justin, congratulations, first of all. And there are no words to thank you. And coming from a grandmother, I'm compelling. I mean, you know, you're just, wow. And how do we follow that up? Well, I'd like to now turn the program over to Mark Ginsky. He can figure it out, and he's going to introduce the next award. Thank you.
Oh, good. I didn't know that. I didn't know I was next. I was leaving. So I have a really, really, really easy job. I have to introduce two people who need no introduction. There's not a person in this room that doesn't either know them or know their story. Mark and Margaret Castellina. Really, it's Margaret and Mark, let's be honest. Let's be honest, I got that backwards. Parents of two children with CF. Eric, their son, married almost 2 years ago now, a year and a half ago. Living with his wife, working at Merrill Lynch, and thriving at 26 years old. And as many of you know, they lost their daughter, Jenna. She moved up at age 13. Every year, they present the Jenna Award. And they present the Jenna Award to a supporter of this mission that has no direct personal connection to cystic fibrosis. Usually they do by now, but it is my privilege to welcome Margaret and Mark to the stage.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation for continuing our daughter's legacy. Usually there's a picture of Jenna up there, but that's in my heart. Jenna had 19% lung function, but she embodied strength, determination, and perseverance. But 11 years ago, there she is. It still gets me. But 11 years ago, our daughter moved up to heaven. It's a term I prefer to use because I believe she's always with me. 11 years ago, Mark and I didn't have the strength, the perseverance, or the determination to know if we could even see another day. We were held up by those around us because their hearts were touched by a little girl named Jenna. We owe a gratitude to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation for allowing us for 10 years to honor individuals that have, ooh, you gave it away. Did it go up? Oh, I see it down there, and I'm like, oh, no. Okay. I'm like, oh, no. I'm like, wait. So the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation allows us for 10 years to honor an individual, like Mark had said, that has no direct DNA, cystic fibrosis connection to cystic fibrosis other than their heart. Their heart was touched by someone with cystic fibrosis because they, like Jenna, had the strength, the determination, and the perseverance to continue this fight along with us. And they're going to stay with it until it's done, like Justin had said. Mark and I have been in this fight for over 27 years, and we've seen our ups and downs, but we have been humbled by the hearts we have met along the way. And I get to, yes, it's Mark and, yeah. You think he'd speak, but no. Yeah. You know it. Thanks, Bean. Okay. This is getting off stage here. Okay, so tonight's Jenna's Award recipient has been involved with the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation since 2000 because their heart was touched by a friend who had introduced them to another person with cystic fibrosis, Lo Dietrich. Lo Dietrich was a young, beautiful woman with cystic fibrosis who also, unfortunately, lost the battle to it in 2012 at the young age of 28. I'm quite confident Lo and Jenna are best friends up in heaven. Tonight's award recipient has been on the board of directors of the Sooner Tulsa chapter. This individual has been a major gift donor, an annual fund donor, live and silent auction donor, bid for the cure nationally and locally, and always says it's a pleasure to give to cystic fibrosis. This individual was the chair of the CF Golf Classic from 2003 till 2013, participated in the Ultimate Golf, which Mark has talked about, Ultimate Golf Experience, since 2009 and has been the chair since 2015, recruiting every possible person to this incredible event. Also, Perry and Kelly Clark have been trying to get Mark and I since 2015 as well, and it would luckily have it, as coincidentally maybe, this year we are going to Ultimate Golf. And we were so excited, we were going. And then Molly told me who was going to be the recipient of the Jenna Award this year, who happens to chair that event. Coincidence? I don't know. But I asked Kelly, I said, okay, well, could you tell me a little bit about this person? And she goes, now I can't do your accent justice, Kelly, but she's like, he is just the nicest man. I'm like, really? I was like, all right. So then I asked some people at the national office, tell me about him. Oh, he's the nicest man. I asked executive directors, the nicest man. I'm like, okay, this is getting suspicious now. So then I start asking friends and golf people that have gone to Ultimate Golf. He's the nicest man. Oh, and you think he's nice. His wife is super nice. Their kids, they're great. I'm like, I have got to meet this family. Anyway, so please join me in welcoming to the stage this year's 2018 Jenna Award recipient, an extremely dedicated individual committed to all our cause, and the nicest man you are ever going to meet. Please give a round of applause to Mark Mara.
Margaret, thank you for those kind words. I actually think my wife would like to meet that guy they're talking about. Cindy and I have been asked repeatedly, what is our connection to cystic fibrosis? Like you heard, we met Lo Dietrich a long time ago. We also met her parents, Terry and Don, who are probably the most inspirational people we've ever met in our lives, and they became good friends. I could go on all night talking about the Dietrichs to you, but just suffice to know that the more we got to know them, the more we wanted to cure their daughter. And that was it. It really wasn't so much about CF for us. We wanted to cure Lo. When they asked us to chair the golf tournament, the local annual golf tournament, we jumped at it thinking, man, this is our chance to really do something to help Don and Terry cure their baby. Cindy and the kids would sit at the table in the kitchen, stuffing envelopes for hours. I'd twist a couple arms here and there. And with the help of a whole lot of friends, we took that tournament and we almost doubled, even more than that, participation and started raising a lot of money. It was a team effort. And about 10 years ago, on a whim, we decided we'd talk to a few of our friends and see if we can go down and check out this event we heard about called Ultimate Golf. Well, needless to say, we were overwhelmed by that experience. We said, man, we got to get more people in here. This is great. You come here, you always want to come back. And it's true. And fortunately, Tulsa now is the highest represented town or city at Ultimate Golf. Every year, we get about 10 to 14 couples. But then about 5 years ago, like Margaret said, Lo moved up. And that was like taking the air out of the balloon. It really was. That was not the result we had signed up for. It was like, oh, man, now what? It was time, I thought, to pull back a little bit. Really not be as involved as we were. But if you ever met Joanne Wynn, who's the executive director of the Sooner chapter, you know she doesn't take no for an answer. So we kept going. And then when we were asked to chair the Ultimate Golf, I was like, oh man, do I really want to do this? I mean, I'm not sure I want to get that involved. But again, if you've ever met Leah Bell and Helen Johnson and Gail Greenberg, you just can't say no to them either. So we soldiered on, and it really, to be honest, wasn't until this fall when we really understood why we're still working towards the ultimate goal for cystic fibrosis. Gail and Billy Greenberg's son, Mitch, moved up in September. They became good friends of ours at Ultimate Golf. While we were corresponding with them, I could really tell the depth of her anguish and despair. And it just reminded me so much of what the Dietrichs went through. And started thinking about what all CF families must go through. Unfortunately, perfectly typified by the Castellinis. And it came down to a really simple concept. To us, kids are supposed to outlive their parents. And CF families don't have that luxury. Not yet. But the one thing I've learned over the years, and particularly in just the last few years, is that the strides to change that have gone from geometric to almost seismic. I really believe that this disease is going to be cured in our lifetimes. So when I'm back home doing my little arm twisting, I tell everybody that, and I say, it will be cured in our lifetime, and we get to be a part of that. And that's a really cool thing. So, Margaret and Mark, I don't know if I'm worthy of the honor for an award named for your daughter Jenna, but I do know my family is, and I certainly know that all the people in Tulsa that make up the Sooner chapter of cystic fibrosis are worth it. So I thank you very much for recognizing us, and I want you to know we're in the fight to the end.
What a night. What a group. You all are amazing. I want to introduce my friend who needs no introduction, Joe O'Donnell, who's been part of CF for how many years now, Joe? 43 years. His sonny, Joe's son, Joey, moved up as well. He's stayed in the fight. It's one of those things until it's done that's remarkable about this community. And I have the pleasure of recognizing a very special person with Joe O'Donnell tonight. I'm going to call you Precious.
Yeah, what a night indeed. Doesn't get any better than this. I look at this room, and I can remember back not so long ago when half the room would be filled because we were really in the dark ages, and we were trying as hard as we could to break the seal, as it were, and to get into a situation where little victories mattered so much. And today, at the end of one of the meetings, I was walking down the hall, and I was by myself, and I thought, my God, there was a stream of people coming out of another room, had to be 50 of them. Off to the left, there was another group of people coming, like an army, all looking, with stern faces, and they're getting on to the next meeting. They had their notebooks, pens, and pencils, and I thought, wow, this really is an army on a mission, and that's what you all are. And in so many different ways, Preston and I were talking about drawing a line through a calendar. And maybe we got to draw 2 lines through a calendar because people who have been in this organization, and there are many of you, for 30 years or 40 years or 20 years, CF was a different thing in that it was still a horror show, but there was no hole, it was a black hole, so we didn't even know what it meant. So today, if you draw that line at 10 years ago and you see what's happening now and all of the stuff that's going on, it's so gratifying. It forces you to move, even faster, and we're getting there to a point where we have to be very serious about it. But And I was sitting over there, and we're going to give this next award, which is a very special award. And I was thinking, I won that award last year. And I thought, wow, I won that award last year. And then I recalled, it's called the Big Dream Award. And I was very flattered until someone came out and presented me with the award, which is about this big. Like a ridiculous. And I'm hoping, I have mixed feelings that the award tonight is bigger than that. Yes, it is. It's bigger. So, thank you. And I thought, my God, I brought it home and put it on, my mantle. And my mom, God bless her, came in and she said, "What's that?" And I said, "I just got a big award." And she said, "A big award? Really? Where are you hanging out? How come?" So anyway, we're going to present that award tonight, a well-deserved award. But I just want to make sure that you all appreciate yourselves, because it all comes back to, Mark was talking about that. We all talk about that. It starts and it ends. And I'm going back 4 decades. And there were warriors then. There are warriors here. And there's so many of you here. And you're all doing such great things. I look at the agenda. And so it really makes a difference. And that's what you're doing, is you're making a difference. So tonight we present a bigger award. I like to think I had something to do with that award, because I did bitch about it. So the big award, the Dream Big Award, is presented to an individual volunteer who has made a significant difference in the fight against CF, of course. It's actually much more than that. The recipient of this award is someone who has dared to dream big, like so many of you have. And we could never have imagined and brought hope to our community like this individual has pushed and gone through her own set of difficulties and successes. So it's a deeply special honor to present this year's Dream Big Award to one of our community's greatest leaders. And who's going to get a big award? And who's an extraordinary friend of the CF office and organization, and a beloved friend of all of us who get to meet her. It's on and on. So, Cam McLeod, we'd like you to come on up.
What a group! And when I introduced Joe, he got such a big award last year or 2 years ago that I forgot that he had raised $257 million for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation.
Yeah.
So, I'm So I just want to say a couple of things about Cam. For Mike Beatty and Sue Hook, who are in the room and have seen Cam in action as the board chair, we couldn't have a better board chair. She's this Southern steel magnolia lady who gets things done in her own way, and she is a force, and a wise force at that, and I can tell you we could not have a better board chair than Cam. It's not surprising because she comes from the hospitality industry, where she was a seasoned executive for many, many years. And not only that, but since she retired from that profession, she's gone back to college and taking classes at the University of Charleston. And get this honor. She's the executive in residence at Babson College Center for Women's Entrepreneurial Leadership. Isn't that great? Now, if you're wondering, what kind of effect she's had on the CF Foundation, since she's been a board member since 1980, I think. Is that right?
85.
1985. Since she's been chair, she's overseen the strategic planning effort for the foundation, which has really helped change the direction of the CF Foundation. She oversaw Kaleido coming to fruition, Orkambi coming to fruition, Syndico coming to fruition, and she's not leaving. I just want to make that clear. Because we're giving her this award doesn't mean she's stepping down tomorrow. The reason we're giving her this award tonight is that we couldn't control ourselves, could we, Joe? We just had to give her this award now. We've been waiting all this time, and we couldn't wait any longer, so that's why we're giving it to her tonight. But she'll also see in what I think will be the triple generation. So what a career as a board chair, Cam. So just a personal note, I couldn't do my job without Cam. She's been a great mentor for me and a friend and a supporter that I needed at times. And I just want to thank you, Cam, for all that you've done, not only for me, but more importantly for the entire CF community and the light that you are. Cam McLeod, the Dream Big Award.
I'm so overwhelmed, Preston and Joe. And to follow Joe, I mean, that's an honor in itself, as all of you know. And to work hand in hand with Preston and this amazing team that we have at the foundation. And to be here with all of you, I truly consider each and every one of you a member of my family, and I hope that you consider me a member of your family too. I will tell you, and many people in this room will appreciate this. The day that Will was diagnosed, I made a call. Back then, we did not have the internet, so you could not Google cystic fibrosis. And if you looked in the encyclopedia, it was way out of date. So made a call to the Georgia chapter of Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and talked. The person, the executive director, answered the phone. It was Maureen Fraser. And we're both here today seeing the amazing things that have happened because of everything, every walk, every person that you've talked to, all the difference that each one of you have made is the reason that we're all here together today. And, I accept and I'm so humbled by accepting this honor. I accept this honor in honor of my son, Will, and Joey, Jenna, and others. And I thank God for each of you being my family, and we're not going to stop, and we're not going to ever leave this room and our times together that have been so incredibly special until we're done. Thank you to all of you.
So we're going to get a picture now, but before we get a picture, there's a special message from a special friend for Cam who's calling in. If we could hear that now.
I am so happy to join Preston and Joe in congratulating Cam on receiving the 3rd Annual Dream Big Award. Knowing personally of your leadership as chairman of the board over the past 20 years, I stand in awe of your dedication, your professionalism, and your wisdom. I congratulate you on the way that you have worked with the medical arm of the foundation to pave the way for new life-changing therapies to be discovered. What a role model you are for all the young volunteers and staff that have become part of the CF family. Despite losing your only son, Will, to this disease, you have never wavered in your pursuit of our mission. How much I do admire that courage. You have made a significant difference to the lives that we continue to serve every day. You are a true inspiration. I wish I could be with you in person today to tell you how much I value our long friendship and to show my deep respect and love for you as we share the commitment to accomplish that mission for the foundation and for our children. Congratulations.
So I think we have one more award, and then Paul's going to come up. Hey, thank you, guys. It's been a fun night, right? You know, last year we lost one of our giants in our community, Frank DeFord, whose daughter Alex passed away from CF in 1980. Frank was a hero to so many of us, and many of us knew him inside this room and outside this room as one of the world's greatest sports journalists ever. We know him in this room as a loving father who turned a tragic loss, the loss of his daughter, into a powerful inspiration in the book Alex that helped the world better understand CF and the importance of finding a cure. Frank was a man of action, and his roles included being involved in the chapter as well as being the board chair of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. He was one of the best. He was one of the best communicators I've ever met. He was absolutely phenomenal. And I'd like to share a very short video in honor of Frank and the difference he made for all people with CF. So join me in watching this video.
Alex should have been diagnosed at birth. I mean, there was enough things wrong. But an incredible number of doctors really were not familiar with cystic fibrosis. I mean, I'd heard the word cystic fibrosis, but I had no idea what it was, how serious it was, and I had to look it up in the dictionary. I mean, it just pulled the rug right from underneath of you. My affiliation with the foundation really began that year, 1972.
Alex was a very special little child, but I suspect that an awful lot of children who, I mean, she was my child, so she was especially extraordinary to me, but I think that so many children who have a terminal disease are indeed special. They take on a kind of wisdom and a sagacity that other children don't have to do. But apart from that, that was sort of like a secret side of her, because when she was with her friends, she could be as much of a little girl or a little devil as any child, and then all of a sudden she would turn into this person who knew that she was dying, or sensed that she was dying, or sensed in any event that she was different. And so there were two Alexes. One of them just a little girl like any other, and the other side of her was a person who had a real problem regardless of her age.
When I wrote the book about Alex, it gave a person, a picture, a portrait that people could identify with. And she did mean something with her short life, and that continues to make me very, very satisfied. It's the small thing that I could do. We had very, very little awareness, and it was hard to grow beyond parents and families. Doris had become the head of the board of trustees, and Bob Dressing was the executive vice president, and I became, by default, the chairman, because I had been the second man on the board. The things I did best as chairman were not things I did, but picking the right people to fill the right slots. So we began to be able to get better and better research, which we continue to this day. I would try to contrast the desperate hopelessness of that time with the fantastic brightness and optimism today. You've got a hell of a foundation behind you.
Well, we miss Frank, we miss his leadership, and it's an honor for me to tonight be able to help present this year's Alex Award, obviously the award named for his daughter. Each year at this conference, Frank would present the Alex Award to a person with CF who is a role model to others with the disease. Honorees embraced perseverance, success, and hope in every aspect of their lives. And they showed courage in the face of the challenges that CF presented. To carry on his father's legacy, Christian DeFord will introduce this year's Alex Award winner.
I am pleased to present this year's Alex Award. For many years at this conference, my father Frank presented the Alex Award to a person with CF who is a role model for others with the disease. Each year he looked forward to honoring my sister's life by celebrating the achievements of members of this wonderful CF community. I know he always treasured these moments, so it is my honor and pleasure this year to carry on this tradition. Alex Award honorees reflect perseverance, tenacity, and courage in every aspect of their lives. They remind us that despite the challenges CF presents, life can and should be lived to its fullest. And this year's winner is no different. Our award winner is a fighter and has been since a young age. She battled living with CF while her brother suffered and ultimately passed away from the disease when they were teenagers. This has no doubt inspired her to ardently stand up for everyone with CF, to be an incredible advocate. Our honoree is being presented this award today for her tireless work advocating for this community. She has been a powerful voice during healthcare reform advocacy efforts this past year, leading at the local, state, and national levels. In 2015, she was named the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation's National Advocacy Co-Chair. In this role, she led efforts on Capitol Hill during Teen Advocacy Day and March on the Hill, and participated in state-level advocacy events in her home state of New York, during which she shared her experiences, helped educate people about CF, and build strong relationships with elected officials. In addition to her remarkable achievements in advocating for our community, she has been actively involved with the Greater New York chapter since 2004. She has been a top Great Strides walker for 13 years, having raised more than $155,000. She also served on a panel during last year's BreatheCon called Creating Your Community, Relationships in and Out of the Community. And at last year's North American Cystic Fibrosis Conference, she shared her experience advocating as an adult with CF with over 4,000 clinicians and researchers. Today, her life is full of joy. She is a social worker, wife, and a mother of 2, or 5 if you count her family's 3 guinea pigs. She and her family are proud New Yorkers, calling the heart of Manhattan home. After an intense day working with her representative, she loves a good party and always encourages fellow advocates to join. She connects with people wherever she goes, be it by keeping people in the CF community up to date or persuading decision makers in Washington, D.C. She is tenacious, strong-willed, and speaks truth to power. She's not shy about making her voice heard, and most importantly, when she talks, people listen. I am thrilled to present Melissa Schiffman with this year's Alex Award. Congratulations, Melissa.
I just have to say that song makes me cry every time. I'm a little overwhelmed. Hi, everybody. Thank you to Christian and obviously to Frank DeFord, who I have to confess, I never read the book, Alex, The Life of a Child. When I was growing up, my doctor, when the book came out, my doctor sent a note and said, you know, this might be something that's a little too much because I was living Alex, The Life of a Child. You know, I obviously had cystic fibrosis, but like I said, it was a mild case growing up, but my brother was very sick, and it was a little bit too much reality for me. And I just want to say that, you know, my brother Jason meant the world to me. He was, you know, my first love. He was my brother, and I watched him fight every day, and we never tried to let CF get in our way. I mean, till the day he died, he was filling out applications for University of Pennsylvania and had plans to go to business school, and I learned so much from him, just watching him. So I share this award with him because I think of him every day. And I want to thank all of you here, because everything that you guys have done has made it possible for me to stand here today. So thank you for all the families who spend their time fundraising, advocating, raising awareness. People like Frank DeFord, who, despite tragedy, dedicated his life to raise awareness about cystic fibrosis. And look where we are today, from 1955. I mean, I'm gonna... Since it's Women's History Month, I feel like I need to acknowledge some of the incredible women that I am grateful for in my lifetime of cystic fibrosis. The first is Dr. Carolyn Denning, who was my doctor for my entire childhood and into college. She was an incredible pioneer. She passed a few years ago. And thanks to her, we have multidisciplinary care centers across the nation. That was her. So we all owe a debt of gratitude to her. I grew up going to St. Vincent's Hospital in New York City. We traveled in from New Jersey to attend. And since Dr. Denning retired, I've been seen by probably the greatest duo that ever walked the earth, Dr. Patricia Walker and Maria Berdella. They have been through a lot with me, and they have kept me as healthy as I am today. And I know that Dr. Walker is watching and probably texting me right now. And I just want to say I love you and thank you for everything that you've ever done. I have had the honor of volunteering for cystic fibrosis related activities my entire life. My parents became very involved when we were younger. And that was led by Phyllis Kossoff, who I know was honored here a few years ago. And I just need to acknowledge the unbelievable impact that she had and how grateful I am that I got to work beside her for my teen years into my 20s until she retired from the Cystic Fibrosis Association of Greater New York. Thank you, Phyllis, for everything that you've taught me. I, of course, need to give a shout out to my Greater New York chapter. And a special nod to Martine Dennis, who was our executive director, who in 2011 called me up out of the blue and said, hey, they're starting this advocacy program and I kind of think that you would be really good for it. And I was, you know, on disability and just sitting at home, you know, in social work school, and I thought to myself, all right, I'll try it. I mean, why not? What do I have to lose? And I mean, what an incredible experience that has been. And I have a special thank you to Trina Fontaine, who is the Felix to my Oscar, and has been with me every step of the way and has become like family to me. And I worship you. I want to acknowledge Mary Dwight and the entire policy team and David. You're a boy, but you're in there. I have learned so much over the past 8 years when, you know, the first time I came to March on the Hill, where there was just a handful of us and Mary and Eric Chamberlain. And I am so proud of what advocacy has grown into. And I am so grateful for the opportunity to come, you know, to help lead the charge with Rebecca Schroeder. Rebecca, what can I say? Your strength and perseverance and determination have been insurmountable. And the lifelong partnership that you and I will now share is second only to my husband, Steve. I want to also acknowledge all of my fellow adults with CF out there who hopefully are watching. I mean, you're my people. You know what it's like to live like this every day, and I am so grateful for everything that you do and everything that you bring to the table. I'm overwhelmed by, you know, following all of you on Instagram and just the energy that everyone has. I mean, the nurses that I always grew up with used to talk about how people with cystic fibrosis are just like the most amazing people, and I mean, it's not very humble because I'm standing here, but we are. We are. And I want to acknowledge my incredible husband, Steve, who I feel like I'm always at these events by myself, so it's always this mystery of like, really, does she have a husband and kids? I don't know about that. Like, maybe, but he's right here. And I just want to tell you a little something about my husband. When we started dating, we went away for the weekend like a few months in, and I guess, you know, I coughed and spit into a napkin, as you do. And and that was his first encounter with mucus, and he had no idea about my cystic fibrosis. And I unfortunately had to explain to him, and I was like, you know, a little shy about it because, you know, we're still kind of new and you want to be kind of cute. I was 25, and here I was with my green mucus. And, and he lived in Toronto, and I found out later on that this guy went back to Toronto and wound up calling a CF center in Toronto to find out everything about cystic fibrosis. And despite that, stuck with me and moved to New York. I, of course, want to thank my kids because they are everything to me, and they keep me humble, and they keep me active, and they keep me grounded, and they keep me distracted from the fact that I have a disease, and I just get to be mom, and I've enjoyed every second of every field trip I've ever been on, every bake sale I've ever participated in, and I just love you to pieces. And lastly, of course, my parents, Mindy and Steve, over there, Mimi and Papa. The three of us have been through a lot together, too much, more than any family needs to ever go through. We were a family of 4 and became a family of 3. And going through that was probably the hardest, it was definitely the hardest thing I've ever been through. But because of your example of persevering and just, moving forward, I learned to stay optimistic and that life still has so many positive things to it. And, and that I was lucky and that I should take advantage of everything that life has coming to me. My philosophy has been for a long time that when you've suffered a tragedy, you'll do whatever it takes to make sure that nobody else goes through anything like what you've gone through. And I think that has been my driving force of volunteering with the CF Foundation. I respect all of you, and I love you as you're my own family, and I don't want any of you to go through what I had to go through and what my parents had to go through. So, I will be here until it's done, and I thank all of you for the opportunity to stand here before you today. So thank you so much.
There's a photo op. What an evening we've had tonight. When we started this morning, which seems like a long time ago, I talked about the different circumstances of people involved with cystic fibrosis. I talked about people with no connection to this disease. I talked about people who had lost loved ones to CF. And I talked about people who live with or have loved ones that are living with the disease today. And we've heard from all of them tonight. And I think it shows us the importance of all working together to find a cure for this disease. It's going to take all of us working together to make that happen. And I got to tell you, after hearing from these amazing people tonight, I am emotionally drained. I think I'm too tired to go to the bar tonight. Just kidding. Come on. But we are going to regroup at 8 o'clock tomorrow. For the people on the live stream, thanks so much for joining in. You can turn off your computers now and turn them back on at 8 a.m. Everyone have a great time. Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow.